The night was cold, the neon lights of the gas station flickering in rhythm with the hum of the pumps. A tiny baby, swaddled in a worn blanket, gurgled softly in the arms of Samuel, the janitor, who had been cleaning the station for decades. He glanced around nervously. Streets were empty, save for the distant wail of sirens and the occasional rumble of a passing truck. It had happened years ago. A young millionaire mother, frantic and entitled, had abandoned her infant at this very station, leaving Samuel no choice but to protect and nurture the child as if he were his own. He had never expected to see her again until that day arrived, 5 years later, shattering the quiet routine of his life. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're re-watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Samuel's hands tightened around the baby's tiny fingers, his eyes scanning the horizon. He had grown to love this child like a son, and the thought of her mother returning after all these years filled him with a strange mixture of dread and curiosity. The air was thick with tension, dust dancing in the sunlight that filtered through the cracked windows, and the faint smell of gasoline hung in every corner. And then she appeared. Her heels clicked sharply against the concrete, her expensive dress rustling like dry leaves in the wind. She froze, staring at the boy who was no longer a baby, but a bright, confident 5-year-old. Her mouth opened and closed, words failing her, as the enormity of what she had done and what she had missed hit her like a tidal wave. Neighbors and passers-by had begun to gather, whispering among themselves, drawn to the drama unfolding at the station. Some murmured in awe, others gasped in shock. The moment was electric, each second stretching longer than the last. The boy looked up at Samuel, then at the woman who had abandoned him, his eyes wide but unafraid. "Do I know you?" he asked, his voice steady, innocent, and untainted by resentment. Samuel stepped forward, his protective instincts flaring. "This is my boy now," he said, his voice calm yet unwavering. 5 years I've cared for him. You can't take that away." The millionaire swallowed hard, her face pale. Her wealth, her status, the life she had assumed would shield her hit meant nothing here. She realized in that frozen moment that love cannot be bought and responsibility cannot be ignored. She tried to speak, her voice shaking. I didn't know what else to do." Samuel's gaze never wavered. He had long since learned that true courage was quiet. The community had grown silent, every eye watching, every heart holding its breath. Even the gas pump seemed to pause in anticipation, the hiss of fuel momentarily replaced by the tension in the air. The boy took a small step forward, reaching for Samuel's hand. "I'm glad you stayed with me," he said simply. His words, pure and unfiltered, carried more power than any confrontation or accusation could. The millionaire's shoulders slumped, tears welling in her eyes. For the first time, she felt the weight of her actions, the fear, the abandonment, and the missed years. She realized that forgiveness, humility, and understanding were the only ways to move forward. Samuel placed a steady hand on her shoulder, not in anger, but in quiet acknowledgement of the lessons life had just taught them all. "You can start by being honest now," he said gently. The boy smiled, the sunlight catching his eyes, reflecting hope, resilience, and the enduring power of love. Because kindness doesn't vanish, it waits, and it finds its way back. As the woman left the station, humbled and reflective, Samuel turned back to the boy, his heart swelling with pride and relief. The gas station, once a place of uncertainty and fear, had become a symbol of strength, courage, and the extraordinary bond that can arise from even the most unlikely beginnings.